Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where we invest with fighter pilot precision every morning. Today, we've got a great show for you today. We're still going to talk about a little bit about how the election results are rolling in, but you know what we care about is how do we position our money going forward to take advantage of whatever the election results happen to be. And primarily what we're going to look at today is marijuana stocks or pot stocks and pot stock investing, names like we talked about yesterday. Kronos, Afria, both of which went on to work for day trades to like a 7 to 8R tune later. It just took them a little while to get going. And other names like Tilray or GW Pharma or just the overall ETF, MJ Marijuana. So that's what we have for you today. So pretty good stuff. If you're catching this on replay, go ahead and subscribe. So make sure you get these every day around 9 o'clock to 10. It won't be live. But it's good information for long-term investing. And if you want to join us live, it costs you $25 a month. So come on out and check us out. You can go to the website to sign up. With that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, here we go. Here's our morning brief presentation. Make sure you have your chat room set up appropriately with, let's see, all attendees selected, and make sure you have your chat window open and Q&A window open as well. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education briefing, so you have to do your own due diligence before you act upon anything you hear in this presentation. All right, let's talk about our mission objectives are to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. And like I've talked about with the election, we went kind of into protect our money mode going into the election, and now we are going to into our grow our money mode, if you will. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is marijuana investing and the election. So with the, we don't know the results yet, so that's a challenge right there. But as far as we know, if you assume a President Biden and a split Congress, which is the likely right now, then there's gridlock, which means the markets go higher. The markets have been celebrating that largely for the past couple of days. And assume, so that's kind of what this is assuming, that it's not a blue sweep, so we don't have new taxes, new regulation, all of that, but there are still going to be several Democratic agenda items that'll be accomplished. When you look at the voting results, 4 states did vote for legalization to some extent of marijuana. 3 of those, I believe, are recreational, and that one of them, I think, was just medicinal. So it's a slippery slope towards full legalization is what we're going to talk about today. All right, your question today is, what are 12B1 fees on mutual funds? We try to shy away from mutual funds, but at least want to talk about why, because they are more expensive and they hide their fees from it. So just a little refresher there. All right, as far as our flow, it'll be long, short, open, short, long, and we are going to do a market review. We'll do a headline review. And interesting, market this morning was down, and now it's in the green pretty much across the board. Maybe the NASDAQ still red, but a lot of optimism in the air as the election results kind of come in. And I think really we're hoping for maybe a declaration today. We, the market, hoping for a declaration of several, if not all, of the outstanding races, if you will, just so there's some certainty going into next week. Markets reward certainty. All right, there's our long-term investments. We talked about a couple yesterday with, Kronos sitting up there, but we talked about Afria and their cannabis-infused beverage stuff, so we'll talk about that. I did not update the scorecard. We're down an R yesterday, so down 3R for the week. That is not good. We will take a look at fixing that today. That's the most negative I've been since we started this in June for a week. So we'll try to fix that. We'll execute the market open and we'll talk your questions. Make sure to put them in the question and answer. Already have somebody chiming in to the chat about Predators talking about Heisenberg. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Officially not a drug dealer. No, you're not a drug dealer if you own the stocks. And if you're a government employee, there's not any problem owning them either, like there is sometimes when you own like a Chinese defense firm. So some interesting things to think about there. All right, let's go over to TD Ameritrade, and we're going to take a look at where we've been. For our new person, I should say, welcome this morning. This is our standard flow. We take a look at the S&P 500. So 1 year from left to right. So you have the COVID dip here, and then all the way off to the right-hand side. And then this is the big move up, basically since the election on Tuesday. So market's going higher. If you want to talk highs, it's probably a little premature to talk new highs, but 358.75 on the SPY. So we're really about, I don't know, 2.5% from all-time highs, which would be kind of crazy. So, I did a lot of buying the day after election. I'm now kind of nibbling. I am going to buy a bunch in the marijuana sector today. That's what I've been studying. Yeah, new highs on marijuana day. You're right. Not intended. I wish I could claim that. I may have to I have to work that in the title when I publish it though. Thank you. I like it. All right, and then we focus in on the past 5 days to really kind of look at the trend of the market. So pretty much straight up left to right. We were in the red last night and then back up into the green. There is some talk of the blue wave gaining life, that the Senate may actually flip blue. I don't think I think the odds of that are probably lower than a Trump presidency resolving out of this. So anyway, make your own decisions. That's mine. But as long as you look at where we were, we're almost back up to the highs of yesterday, and you can actually see the needle moving, which is a good sign. Here's our day trading chart. We'll come back to that when the time is right. All right, let's take a look at the CNBC. I'll share that out to you here. Here's the tab. Let's refresh this. Let me make sure I shared that right. Get a warning here for what is going on. Let's stop that and share it back out and see if that clears our warning. There, cleared our warning. Okay, so here are the CNBC. Well, actually, you see this slightly in the red. But you see the erase futures losses turns positive after the big drop in unemployment rate. Yeah, we're down to like 6.9. When you think back to a few months ago, we were at 30. So pretty significant gains there in the unemployment market. So that's why the stock market is celebrating that. Okay, let's take a look around the world. Here's Europe, pretty much split, not a whole lot of motion. Asia split, a little more in the green than red. There's our numbers from yesterday. Big numbers. Volatilities continues to drop. So normality is the word trying to return, if you will. A little bit of move upward in the bonds. Chairman Powell talked yesterday. He said we're going to hold rates lower longer. He didn't put a time frame on it. Again, they've said 3 years in the past. I think 10 years is more likely. I just don't see a way out of it. But then again, that's why they get paid the big bucks, and they will show me our way out of it. So it'd be nice if interest rates were a little higher, just for the health of the overall economy and to be able to give people some fixed income options to invest in retirement. Things in red across the oil as far as gold and silver. Again, the stockpiling of, if you go out and try to buy ammunition now, it's like doubled since election day, which it had doubled going into election day. So don't go out and buy ammunition right now, because that's just silly, because you're buying high and get it high again. Take a pass on that. It's not time to go to your bunker. If you have an investable lifetime of, hopefully I'm 50 years old, a little over, I hope I see several presidents, several administrations from both sides. So I don't think it's time to either flee the country or dive into a bunker. We'll get through this. All right, back to the pre-market. Let's take a look at some headlines. Job growth. So there's our unemployment, 6.9%. So really that's getting more healthy, and it's getting healthier every month when we report it. There's some risk. I believe this is an actual thing. Pretty high risk of the economy backtracking due to coronavirus. Coronavirus, thrives in a cool environment. So the will you could see an increase in cases over 100,000 each new day. I'm a little more careful now than I have been, just because it's cooler outside. So we'll see. All right, about the election updates. You can track that somewhere else. Yeah, that's true. Because of low rates, stocks are actually pretty cheap. If rates would start to go up, stocks would look more expensive. So there would be two issues if rates go up. There would be the money flow into bonds, and then there would be the money flow out of stocks because they're more expensive. So kind of two different things there. Okay, healthcare rally just beginning. I don't buy that as much. You don't see me in a lot of healthcare names because they keep getting crushed from their ability to make money. All right, let's go to FinViz real quick. I want to show you the MJ ticker. So here's where we are with the marijuana stocks. It jumped 10% yesterday. This is the index fund, so the ETF that has all of them in it. You see a 7.29% dividend in here. Some of these companies are ridiculously small and kind of all over the map. So I don't put a lot of, it's technically true. That's money you're going to get, but I wouldn't necessarily buy it for the dividend, right? You're not going to buy a marijuana ETF fund for a dividend, right? So, but you're getting a little bit of a kickback while you're in it. But when you look at the chart, you can see that it, here towards the end is kind of the important part. Bottomed out towards 10 and now up towards 13, but a lot of congestion here. So you can buy it in this range. If you think the main thesis is, if you think marijuana is going to follow the same path as alcohol, so it's going to be legalized nationwide, it's going to be taxed heavily, and it's going to become part of society, then you definitely want to get your money in now. You don't care whether it's at 12.48, 13.48, 11.48. Everybody wants cheaper, but literally you can buy anywhere here. If you're right, these stocks are going to be 3-4 times higher in a number of years. However, there's election risk. You get a red wave in 2024 when Trump runs again, like he's already talking about, or his people are talking about. I don't know that Trump is, but anyhow, just realize this could be kind of turned back off too. The country tried that with alcohol back in the day and failed miserably. So I don't really think you can turn it back off, but realize there would be some election risk there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look over at Schwab. We'll take a look at the other marijuana names. Screen not being shared. So I am having an issue. All right, so there we go, over to Schwab. So sorry about that. I guess the FinViz chart was not coming up. Okay, back over to, we don't want Peloton up there. We want Tilray. Tilray is one of those, I think it's just a popular, cute name. It's the number 5 holding on Robinhood. So the younger folks that are out there investing, buying this name up. So you can see all these are kind of in the same place. They're really pretty beat up, except for Afrio, which again is, just bought a beverage company, and there's been talk of that for a while now. So they're already popped up on people getting excited about that. I don't understand the cannabis infused beverage. I understand those words, but I don't understand like what high that delivers or whatever, or how it's legal. So I probably need to do some more research there. But overall, look at this MJ chart. Yeah, no problem hopping in here. It may take some time and it may not work out, but that's part of investing. All right, let's go ahead and now switch to looking at some day trading. I see some stuff popping up in the chat, so I'll address that first here. All right. Where did it go? No FinViz. There we go. All right, sure about Peloton short? No, everything's a risk, so don't take it if you don't like it. Buy, raises price target. Yeah, the Peloton missed because of supply chain issues. They beat earnings last night, but they talked about supply chain can't keep up, so they can't keep up with their orders. So that's why the stock is getting hit. It's a temporary thing. I think it's a good long-term hold. It's just grossly expensive. But anyhow, that'll be our short. You can also, if you don't like that, you can switch to our other short, which is Electronic Arts. But let's talk longs first, because it looks like the market is going to go long. I have Tilray pulled up over here. Again, marijuana name, no real news other than the marijuana names are surging. So just like you saw yesterday, even though our trade missed from where we got stopped out, in about 8 minutes later, it flipped and went long for the long term. That doesn't, yesterday a more patient entry would have worked. That's not really our philosophy. As we hop in right at the beginning, we capture that initial move, and when it doesn't work, we move on. You see some other names out there that are in emotion, but we aren't really going to go in depth other than to Tilray, and then DDD, which is 3D Design Core. It's been beat up kind of lately. They beat earnings, so it is gapping up 654 to 668. That's not quite 5%, and it's not quite the 100,000, but I think this is a safe name to get in and be able to take long. So that's why I have it as my number 2 long. A little slower, a little safer. So since we're down 3R, that would be a safer play. So I may take that one based on that. All right, let's take a look for some other longs real quick. ACB, Aurora Cannabis, is another name. We didn't go over the individual names. Actually, we did. ACB wasn't one that I talked about, though. Up 27% today. So again, all of these are kind of in play. Tilray has not really moved up, so that's why I expect for it to move up. All right, Xpeng Motors, we know about them. We've been talking about them for the past several days. Look at that, 7 million in pre-market. Lee's in here somewhere, I'm sure. There's Lee. Automotive. There's our Tilray. Ooh, already jumped up 12%, so maybe we have missed this. We'll need that to come in if we take it long. I don't know what Advantor is. Secondary offering, we aren't going to touch that. All right, let's look at some. We have a few more minutes. Let's look at some other longs. Trade Desk blowing it out of the water. You know, I like that name. Let's see what else has it. T-Mobile. Let's see what's going on with T-Mobile here. Price target hikes. Earnings. Boost shares. 117 up to 124, so kind of clearing its recent high. So I'm not going to touch that here. Let's see what's going on with Square. Stellar Q3 up to 184. I'd be more inclined to take Square here. 175. And they're right at the 5%. All right, let's switch from Tilray, since it's over up to 12%, to Square, that's up 5%, and plenty of volume to be able to get it done. Kind of a tough price point, so size your holdings accordingly. All right, scanning through some more long names. Talked about every single one of those. There's Square again. There's Kronos is set up again, another 7% off the big move yesterday, but we're not going to touch it because that's what we did yesterday. All right, so long is going to be Square first and then Triple D second. As far as our short, let's see. I put in Peloton. If you don't like it, don't take it. Let me show you what I'm talking about, though. Plenty of volume, 126 down to 123. So it's not gapping as much as it was. You're right. People are probably not selling out of this, but it's a supply chain issue. The second one is EA. Just barely has the volume, 128 down to 118. So it's kind of down in that free fall land. So yeah, let's look at it. EA is our short. So those will have a put up. I'll have Square, Triple D, and EA. All right, got about a minute. So let's share over to Think Pipes and get everything set up. Get rid of me. All right, we have SPY all the way to the left. We're going to have SQ set up in the first chart. Triple D, again, that's a little safer play than normal. And then on the right for our short, we're going to have EA set up. So let me get my platforms set up. You know, I like shorts a little better, so I'm initially going to set up for this EA short. Okay, 30 seconds to go to the market open. We have, welcome the on time on target trade of the day. We have the SPY all the way to the left to monitor it on a 1 minute chart. We have a long in Square that we're taking a look at. We have a long in Triple D, 3D Systems that we're taking a look at. And our short is the far right is Electronic Arts. Make sure you manage your price point accordingly. $2 for Square for your stop. It's going to be about 10 cents for Triple D. And for Electronic Arts, it's going to be about $1.50, maybe $1, depending on the entry. You heard the opening bell there, so we are off to the races. Go ahead and make sure you have your ticker set up. I'm looking at Triple D initially long if we get a decent entry point. I'm also looking at EA short as we go in here. Don't really care for this dip in Square, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. And of course, the market's been straight up for so long. I'm expecting the market to finally come in. If the market ever comes in, then obviously we're going to take the short. But that has not happened, right? We've been trying to take longs, and it has been difficult. So, all right, taking a look at where everything is in the first minute. Square's not moving a whole lot. I would expect to see more movement in that. EA is moving, went up to 119.8. Looking at a dollar move. So EA short at 118.5. 118.5 is where we're going to take it if it hits it. 118.50, and again it's short, and it'll be a we'll have to use a $1.50 stop. I may shorten that. There it is, 118.50. I might have jumped the gun by 2 pennies there, but I am in the trade short at 118.5 on EA. All right, so here's our entry point. Let go of that. So in 118.5 short, come on. There we go. 120 is basically, we'll put it up here. I'm setting 120 as a super conservative high of the day. So that will take us down to $1.50. So we'll need it to go 117 is our first stop to the downside. Let me give you that big arrow. And we do, of course, like that initial move to the downside. So there's kind of a terrible arrow to show you that it's to the downside there. That's the 1R point. So it went down to the 1R pretty quick. We do have the market in the red for us, and make sure you have your ticker set up appropriately. Double checking my entry price here. Yep, I took it. Got it 118.50 exactly. All right, so buying back, take a look at my total number of shares. This is one I may buy half of it back. If it continues all the way straight down to 3R, I'll just buy half back and let the other ride. That's assuming the market's in the red. Otherwise, I'll just buy it all back and be happy with the trade. So overall, this is setting up nice in EA, so we're just going to kind of let that cook. I do like this move in triple D, except for it's not that far in the green, so I'm going to pass on it. And then I'm going to, let's see, with Square long, 118, so it's a $4 move down. So it's kind of below 5%. Let's surf around a little bit. We'll keep Square up there, but let's surf around to, we talked Peloton short. Let's see how it acted. You would have had to let this go. Entry point realistically is probably about 124 with maybe $1.50. So it's about the same as far as EA right now. You're right. Peloton's a tough name because it's a favorite stock, where EA is not necessarily favored at all. But market's in the red, 0.4 in the SPY. Let's look at the 0.4, 0.5, 0.3 across the board. So a red market's certainly going to help us out here. Okay, let's look at some other names out there that we had for long. We had Tilray. Surf around the pot names, see how they're doing. Not Tickray, Tilray. TLRY. There's no way you could have bought it in here to catch that move up. So it did work, but there's no way you could have entered that. Let's look at Kronos. This was yesterday. It sold off a little bit. So House of Pain there, unless you waited all the way down here. But that'd be kind of gutsy to take it down here. Just saying. ACB is up 20-some%. Dare I say they're not up 20-some%. They're up 45%. So look at the volume. This is what crazy, insane volume looks like. So look at this in millions in the first 5 minutes of the market, 5 million, 4 million, 4 million, 4 million, and almost 4 million shares changing hands. You think they're in play? Yeah, they are. Let's look at the level 2 on ACB. ACB. Yeah, basically the screen can't keep up with it, is what you're seeing here, which is kind of out of control. So we will get rid of that. Looks like a disco. Okay, monitoring our trade. We're at the 1 hour point. Everything's fine. I do like the trade. I like where the market is going as far as the trade is concerned. So let's look at some other things here. We'll get rid of ACB because it's jumping all over the place. Trade desk was up big, up to 15%. Tough trade, tough point to trade, but it's only going to continue to get more love, in my opinion. Triple D, what did it do? Again, I told you it was going to be safe, and it looks like it's going to be a safe long, but not really going to go into it now. Some other Yelp was long. Okay, it did work. You'd have had to taken it right out of the bat with a 30-cent stop, but it runs a 3-hour move right there. So there you have it. And Roku was moving up on earnings. And yeah, that would not have worked, man. It would turn on you pretty quick. So, all right, there we are. Square. It looks like if you're super adventuresome, you could take Square down here, and let's back this chart out. See if 183.50 is pretty safe. I would not have any problem. You can turn around. You're taking this long though. You can try and take it here. Don't expect to get a full 3R out of it because you're going to have to use probably a $1.50 stop to make sure you clear the low of the day. But you could take that long if you wanted a kind of an easier long to go with. This looks like it's holding. That's over $1 move there. So here's what I'm looking at. Set your stop down as 182.80 and then take it once it goes north of 185. So, a couple dollars of safety there. All right, let's look at some other names that are favorites. Let's see what's going on in Apple. Apple's off a little bit. Nothing I'm really concerned about. Amazon's off a little bit. I'm sure Google's probably the same way, right? So all of those have been selling off. The big financials, BlackRock, 0.64. And let's look at Blackstone, 0.77. Let's look at MJ, 0.5, 0.6 on the way up. So, nice gain coming off a 10% gain from yesterday. All right, we're up in our trade over an R, so we're just going to let that cook. I feel comfortable leaving that behind while we take a look at what's going on. So over looking at the left for our new person, again, we start to switch back out. We're still in a day trade, but we're out of day trading mode because we've set our stops and we're going to accept what we get. So that's why I'm comfortable leaving it. So have your stops in. If not, pull it up on a side screen and stare at it if you want. I do have it up on another screen, so it's not like I'm going completely blind here. But I also have my stops in, and if it hits one of them, it does. All right, so what do we have? We have Trade Desk going up big. YCBD is a psychedelic name. That's kind of like a derivative of the marijuana thesis. That's like step 2. So if you're convinced that marijuana is going nationwide and you want to hop in on psychedelic, which is the next level, there was one state, Oregon, passed mushrooms are legalized now in Oregon. So that's kind of your first data point that I know of that is a psychedelic name being legalized. So consider. Those are generally penny stocks and move all over the place. It's not really my type of investing, but if you want to put a few bucks in it, you can. I don't have any money in that. I have money in marijuana. All right, PLTR, Palantir. Let's take a look at them because I know that a lot of folks are in that name. They IPO'd not too long ago. Again, 10 was their the point. And, really everybody's up, 25% after all the angst of it opened at 10 and then fell. So little faith, excuse me. I was saying on the day of the IPO, if you rewind, that I would have bought this at any level below 20. That's how much I believe in this name long-term. So if you want more, you can add here. If not, just take the fact that you've got a 25% gain, since I said I would basically almost pay any price for it to get in on it. All right, Cole's getting a little love. Jack Henry, Neo taking a breather. Look at this chart in Neo. This is insane. They're pulling a Tesla, basically. They're up in the 40s. We bought in below 10. Tough name to hold, though. And, of course, it's celebrating the fact that it appears Trump's not going to be in the White House. All right, bunch of other names in there. And let's look what's down on the red side. That's a excuse me, that is an option. We talked about options yesterday, so won't go into today. There's our EA. So out of all the day trades, we picked the one that's on the top of the chart here, minus 9%. So that means we're up at least an R in our trade from where we took it. All right, DraftKings getting hit. Workhorse, Twilio, Camping World Holdings. Thought they'd be in the green here for a little while. All right, you see your Amazons and your Apples in here. So that's what I have. Let's check back to our chart. There we are in positive land as far as our trade. A lot of dojis here. So one of two things will happen is that's going to hold, and this will mark the low of the day. And if that's the case, we just set our trade, our upper stop, and our we take what we have. Or this means these are buyers right here at this level. That's what those dojis mean. It drops and it gets bought right back, get brought right back. Once these buyers are exhausted, that's when you get the big move down. So you're either forming a base to go higher, or you're going to get a big, well, there you go. Big move down is when you run out of that buyer right there. That's when, again, like I just said, the big move down. So 2 R's at 115. I'll leave that up while we talk about 12B1 mutual funds. And I had trouble sharing the screen out the other day. So no questions in the Q&A. Let me go back and clean up the chat. Yeah, new highs. I have to put that in my title. It's not new highs for them though, but I'll work it in there just because it's too funny. Thanks for that, Predator. Screen black, screen sharing. I did get a warning, so I'll know from now on that I'll probably announce that, yeah, it's probably not working. So no worries if you see a black screen. I'll be smarter on that in the future. Okay, let's go to the question of the day. Today's question of the day is, what are 12B1 mutual fund fees? Now, when you buy a mutual fund, or what your 401k is largely probably in as mutual funds. Now, mutual funds have kind of come under pressure for this exact thing. So a lot of your companies have moved to a Vanguard or a Fidelity that's going to take you out of the mutual funds and into index funds. If you're in index funds, you're okay. You do not have this 12B1 fee. The 12B1 fee is basically a commission to the advisor who puts you in this fund. And you're like, well, wait a minute. If my advisor gets a commission for putting me into mutual funds, isn't that a conflict of interest? I have to say, yes, I mean, yes, like yes, bold letters, italicized, underlined, OMG, OMG, WTF, all of that string behind it. Yeah, it's absolutely a conflict of interest, because now your advisor is not advising you, they're selling you on something. And get this crap. So say you were with Edward Jones, and say your Edward Jones advisor's name is Bob Money. That is an actual Edward Jones advisor name. I do not know him personally, but I do know he's an advisor in Alamogordo, New Mexico. I don't know if that's his birth name or if he changed it, but I generally would run if you come across anybody named Bob Money. Don't take that personal, Bob, that's just your name. But if Bob Money in Alamogordo, New Mexico puts you into a mutual fund, and then you go, you know what, I'm switching, and you switch either to your own management or to another advisor, as long as you're in that fund, those shares are coded to Bob Money, and Bob Money gets a 12B1 fee till Bob Money leaves the industry. What? That's insane. That's not only insane, that's stupid. It should be illegal, but it's not. So get out of mutual funds and don't play that game. It is that bad. Now, is it a huge amount? No, but when you get into, you get a 7-figure portfolio and you're all in mutual funds, then it starts to get to be a number that somebody cares about. 0.25%. That can add up to 0.75, which is the max allowed on this fee by law. It's 0.75. So, and that's in addition to, that's the 12B1 fee. That has nothing to do with the fund managers and how they get paid. That's simply the advisor's take on the mutual fund. So say there's 30 people running this fund, all of which are making, $250,000 a year because they're very smart, or they made good choices on industries they entered. This is in addition, has nothing to do with this 12B1 fee. So kind of crazy, makes me nauseous just even talking about it. So I'm going to stop talking about it. All right. So where's our trade? Here we are at the 10.2 down. What's screaming higher here? Roku is screaming higher. Okay. So right hand side there, Electronic Arts, we're up an R because we shorted it at the 118.50. The next level down there is 115.50 for level for our 2R. Maybe it stopped trading here. Does not appear to be in motion. Either way, keep your other stop here at 120, or if, because you followed my trade, you're at -3R, and the last thing you want to do is be a -4R, bring your stop down to 118.50, or look up your exact price when you entered, set your stop just a few pennies below your exact price. So if it does back all the way up and hit it, you haven't lost any money today. So let's do that. I'm going to do that too. So I'm in at 118.50. So I'm going to re-put the upper stop. So I'm out. Even I'll actually put it down here about 118.47 or so. So that way, if the market, we announce a new president and the market screams higher and we get blown out of this for whatever reason, we haven't lost any money. So no R's at risk anymore. And then we have the downside. 115.5 is the 2R. So that puts 114 as your lower price for your 3R point. 5 minutes prior to the end of the day, come back in, kill the trade, and take what you get. So, all right, that's all I have for you today. Real nice show this morning. Thanks for chiming in on those several things. I will try to find a way to entitle this something with new highs in marijuana investing. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Wait, today's Friday. See you guys Monday. You guys have a good weekend. The market could move pretty big over the weekend, depending on what's announced and what isn't, right? So we shall see.